When I mentioned the fact that you had a black belt, you mentioned that, but it's referred to quite frequently and I'm looking at your website. You use this term among your tools is Lean Six Sigma. What does that actually mean? How is that part of what you provide, the service you provide? How
Sure.
do you answer that?
So Lean Six Sigma is the framework that we use for addressing these problems. And it comes from two different, somewhat disparate methodologies that have been developed over the years. Lean is really all about flow. And it really started, you can go back and look at as far back as manufacturing of the cotton gin. So how do you make things flow in a factory? It's making sure that each and every part is the same, and as you put those parts together to form a final product, it comes out in the way you expect it. And there's flow from beginning to end, from all those components coming together to finally getting a product out the manufacturing line. Same is true in automotive. So if you think of manufacturing and single-piece flow, it really goes back to Henry Ford at a large scale. And that lean methodology and thought process really took hold in Toyota after World War II when Deming went to visit the Japanese and helped reestablish the economy through getting back in place an industrial base for the country. They didn't have much to work with, so it was important that everything you had you used in an efficient way. So they became very religious in their approach to making sure they had efficiency, but also in that process making sure that the ideas from the people on the front line to put that efficiency in place were included in a process called Kaizen, which is continuous improvement on an incremental basis each and every day. So that's what Lean is all about. It's getting product flow and making sure you get people closest to the work who are contributing to that flow and have the power to make improvements and also have the power to flag things when things aren't going the way they should. So that's where Lean comes from. Six Sigma is more out of the quality realm and understanding the capability of a process to produce a product within specifications. And so that really came out of Motorola in the 1980s. And these concepts came together and were kind of put out there by folks like Allied Signal, Honeywell, General Electric in the 90s. And so this training where these were combined and put in place and went out all across industry came out in the 80s and 90s. And I went through that training as part of my engineering time and was trained at first the green belt level, which is kind of the basics to do projects, a black belt level, which is a more involved use of statistics to understand a process's capability. And then finally, I also went through master black belt training at one of my prior companies, and which was really around how do you run programs that use these tools. And I was able to put that into effect at the last company I worked at for over a decade.
Well, that's pretty amazing because when I read that you are a certified Lean Six Sigma black belt, most people think that's you're a wrestler or something of that nature.
Yeah, well, they stole the terminology from martial arts.
They did, but it works, and that's one of your prime tools, and it's really a worthwhile tool. It's mentioned a lot. You feature Lean Six Sigma as well as many of the other outstanding things you provide to help companies with.